Is it loading? I don't know if it's live. Why is it just sitting there loading? That scares me. Hey, what's up, Tennessee Valley? Very happy. Today's Thursday. We're talking about our threat for severe weather as we head into the afternoon and then eventually through the evening. We're going to sit here for just a couple of more seconds. I want to give some people some time to join in. If you are here watching this video live, you'll know it's live because it's going to say live in the upper corner. Please feel free to put where you're watching this video from. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's threat for severe weather, please put them in the comments. I'm going to do my best to monitor the comments. I also have Emily. She can monitor the comments when she's done doing other things as well. So the goal is to be able to get to all of your questions, comments, and concerns. Again, put them in the comments. I will do my best to get to each and every one of them because I know this is potentially a really big severe weather day across the Tennessee Valley. I'm sure some of you have some other questions, comments, or concerns, and I want to make sure we get to those. And so I'm going to do my best to get to all those questions, comments, and concerns. So if you'll just put them in the comments and put your location, that's going to help me to answer your questions as well. So just some things to keep in mind as some people get joined in here and we begin to talk about our threat for severe weather across the Tennessee Valley. Now, I know many of us have been talking about a fair amount of rain this morning. So that's something worth keeping note of, that we've been talking about a lot of rain. And I know typically when we're talking about the threat for severe weather, you think to yourself, oh, well, it rains. That completely stabilizes our environment and then our threat for severe weather goes away. No, not at all. That is not the case this time around. The rain that we've seen overnight this morning and as we approach the lunch hour is all rain we actually expected across the Tennessee Valley. All of this was in the forecast. The thunderstorms we've seen a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings across northeast Alabama. All of that was forecast. All of that was completely expected. It is completely separate from the overall threat for severe weather. If you'll remember, I talked about that and I harped on that quite a bit last night at 9 o'clock. So if you have a current look at radar, we're still talking about some very heavy rain across northeast Alabama, more specifically Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. We're also talking about some heavier rain down into Morgan County and Coleman County. We've already got some significant reports of flooding. And I can go ahead and tell you right now that the rain is overperforming the forecast as far as this morning is concerned. Some of us have seen well north of an inch of rain, and that is already creating some serious flooding concerns across different portions of the Tennessee Valley. And the rain's only going to continue to build in through the course of the afternoon, heading into the evening. So the rain is not something that we are done with by any stretch of thinking we're done with it. But if you look across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin counties, Lawrence County, even getting into Limestone and portions of Madison County up into southern Middle Tennessee, we're actually doing a pretty good job at drying out. We're drying out. We've seen some reports of a little bit of sunshine. I can kind of give you a live look here. This is over Florence. Not a whole lot of sunshine, still a fair amount of cloud cover. We can go to Decatur. I can show you the same thing. We're beginning to lighten up things just a little bit. So this is something we're going to continue to watch for, but in the meantime, I want to show you this while we go ahead and check the comments. This is brand new. The National Weather Service has issued a PDS tornado watch. That stands for Particularly Dangerous Situation. Tornado watch for the entire Tennessee Valley until 8 o'clock this evening. Particularly Dangerous Situation, or PDS, is a tag we add to a tornado watch when there's a particular threat for dangerous, violent, and long-lived tornadoes. And that's something that we're talking about the environmental setup for. So that's something we're going to pay very close attention to through the afternoon. Good morning, Jordan. It's a PDS kind of day. Yeah, it certainly is, Richard, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Watching from Nashville. Oh, that's kind of cool. Florida weather for the weekend. I don't honestly know what Florida weather is for the weekend. Pulaski, Tennessee, West Point, and Coleman, Alabama, Fort Payne. Anything on Trinity looks bad here. As far as bad for the next couple of hours, we're just talking about some showers and thunderstorms. Nothing is going to be severe in the rather immediate future. Sun out in Trinity. Oh, Will that make it worse? Yes, Kimberly, the fact that the sun is out is in fact going to make it worse. And as a matter of fact, if you're seeing sunshine, please let me know that you're seeing sunshine. But the fact that the sun is out is going to make it worse, because that's going to allow us to destabilize. Oh my goodness, my Starbucks is here. Thanks so much, Uber driver. You're great. Also, thanks to Emily for buying my Starbucks today. Can't forget her. So yeah, the fact that the sun is out is going to make it worse, because the sun allows us to, you know, kind of fuel ourselves. Our environment becomes a little more primed, a little more conducive for the development of severe weather. Sunshine, rising dew points, rising temperatures, that allows us to destabilize. We get a little more energy in our atmosphere, and we talk about the threat for severe weather. In case you're curious, my typical order is a cinnamon dolce latte. I saw 2 or 3 minutes of sun. Thanks, Teresa. Sunshine out in North Coleman. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. Sunshine is something that we're going to continue to see a little more of as we go through. Let's see, it's 11:45, maybe the next hour, hour and a half. I think that's something that could become a little more popular. And again, normally sunshine is a good thing. Not in this case. Sunshine is only going to allow us to destabilize a little more. We have sunshine in Nashville. Rain has stopped. Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I want to check the WZDX page to see if we have any new comments. So if you'll just give me a second.
Who is in Nashville?
Oh, that's a friend of mine. I went to high school with him.
I was going to say, I'm glad they're watching us.
I know. I went to high school with him. Do I want what?
Do you want these switched, or do you want this one back over where it was?
It doesn't matter. And then we'll do kind of the same setup we did last week. So I'm just going to check the WZDX page, see if we've gotten any comments. Sunshine and Harvest, thank you. Sunshine and Owens Crossroads, Sunshine. Oh, you're watching in Harvest. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So again, we have the PDS Tornado Watch that is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. This is associated with our next opportunity for severe weather. The entire Tennessee Valley, oh boy, they've expanded that high risk for severe weather. So this is a brand new update. That's why I kind of seemed a little shocked. This is literally a brand new update that's come out within the last 5 or 10 minutes from the Storm Prediction Center. And the Storm Prediction Center has gone ahead and extended the high risk for severe weather to include the entire Tennessee Valley. So before it was kind of cut off at the Huntsville metro area, they've extended that to include now all of northeast Alabama as well. That includes Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties up into southern Middle Tennessee, Giles and Lincoln counties. Good afternoon to you both. So again, this is a brand new update from the Storm Prediction Center. Now the entire Tennessee Valley is sitting under a high risk for severe weather as we go through Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. If you'll give me just a second, I kind of want to go to the Storm Prediction Center's website.
This isn't important, but I just want you to be aware.
And I want to see what their... Oh, okay. I kind of want to see what they're thinking. Otherwise, they haven't really changed much as far as expanding things. We are also talking about a 30% chance that any location within 25 miles of a given point could be talking about a tornado. Now, I know 30% doesn't actually sound like a lot, but on any given day where there's stronger weather in the forecast, that percentage is typically right around 2 to 5%. So the fact that there's a 30% chance of a tornado developing within 25 miles of a given point is actually a very, very big deal. 30% in this case is a very high number. Periods of sun and clouds here in South Huntsville, my weather station. Rain gauge indicating about 1 3/4 inches of rain since about 4 o'clock this morning. Thank you for that, Richard. Yes, some folks have seen 1.5, 2 inches of rain. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised if some folks have seen a little bit more. With that in mind, we can go ahead and talk about the flash flood watch that is in effect until 1 a.m. on Friday morning. Yes, the rain's going to be done by 1 o'clock on Friday morning. But that doesn't mean we're going to be done talking about the concern for flooding. I think the concern for flooding is actually going to continue through Friday and even into the weekend. With that in mind, there is also rain in the forecast as we head into the weekend. But that's not something we're going to talk about right now because honestly, it's really not that important as far as the weather in hindsight is concerned. So I've kind of updated the timing on this graphic. This is rainfall through the lunch hour on Friday. Now again, the rain is going to come to an end long before the lunch hour on Friday, But honestly, 12 o'clock on Friday is just a really good whole even time. So many of us are still talking about another 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain. Some across northwest Alabama are still looking at an additional 4 to 4.5 inches of rain. That is a lot of rain in a very short period of time. Again, flooding has already been a concern this morning across different portions of the Tennessee Valley. And to be quite honest, the flooding concern is only going to intensify. And frankly, I think it's safe to say at this point that the flooding concern is nearly as big of a concern as our threat for damaging winds and tornadoes. And that's kind of why I've changed the threats a little bit. Our primary concerns this afternoon are going to be heavy rain with the risk of flooding, damaging winds. That would come in the form of straight line winds, winds in excess of 60 or 70 miles per hour, and without a tornado, independent of a tornado, as a matter of fact. That can do a lot of damage. And then, of course, we do have that threat for tornadoes. We have the PDS tornado watch in place. The Storm Prediction Center has also highlighted our area as an area that is favorable for the development of more violent tornadoes. And by a technical definition, I guess if you want to provide one, a violent tornado would be classified as anything EF2 or greater. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. So again, if you're just now joining us, I'm trying to keep up as best I can with any questions, comments, or concerns. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them in the comment section, and I will do my best to get to each and every one of them. Let's check the WZDX page, see what we've got as far as any questions, comments, or concerns there. Again, when you ask your question or you want your concern addressed, please include your location. It will help me immensely if I can tack on a location to my answer to your question. On and off sun in Newmarket, half sunny, but clouds are moving in fast in Lincoln County. Thank you. Can you give us a better sense of the time frame? Oh, I can do that, Daniel. Just a second. I have a graphic for that. So yeah, Daniel, we can talk about the timing. Thank you for asking. Just a second. Let me get it pulled up here. So here's what we're talking about as far as timing. And we really haven't seen a whole lot of change as far as the timing is concerned since we talked about this last night at 9 o'clock. Timing. This is for the onset of severe weather across the Tennessee Valley. 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. across northwest Alabama. That's Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, and Lawrence counties. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. across the I-65 corridor. That's southern Middle Tennessee, Giles and Lincoln counties. And then Limestone, Madison, Morgan, and Coleman counties. 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. across northeast Alabama, Jackson, DeKalb, Marshall counties. That is for the onset of severe weather. That's not saying it's going to start at 1, end at 9 across northwest Alabama. That's not what that implies. So this is what I've got for you as far as timing is concerned. Now, we might be able to shift this a couple of hours here or there. I don't think we're going to shift it up at all, especially when you take into account that it is 11:52. So I really don't think we're going to be moving this timing up. If we do anything, I think we'd move it back. Now, it is important to note that these storms are going to be racing. Insert several meteorological reasons here. These storms are going to be moving very, very, very quickly. So that's also something worth a note. I can kind of give you a look at FutureCast. I haven't added any pause points, so we're kind of going to go through it together, and I'm kind of going to look at it with you. So here's FutureCast at 12 noon, so this is literally within the next couple of minutes. Some of us are talking about some breaks in the clouds. Others of us are talking about a little more rain. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change this. We're going to change it to 1 o'clock. So FutureCast at 1 o'clock, some breaks in the cloud cover. Some of us are dry, but we're beginning to see some showers and thunderstorms move into northwest Alabama. Still, even at 1 o'clock, I don't necessarily think we're talking about the most intense or the most severe activity. But if we progress FutureCast down the road, now we're getting into 3:30. Now we're getting into 3:30, a more defined band of showers and thunderstorms. You can see these kind of independent cells that are popping up. Let me see if I can draw that. You can kind of see these independent cells popping up as highlighted by these brighter pinks. This is where we're going to see that opportunity for some more discrete supercells. The further apart these discrete supercells are, I didn't ask you anything, Siri. The further apart these discrete supercells are, the more likely that they're going to produce long-lived, intense tornadoes. Because the further apart they are, they can kind of suck up their own little amount of energy by themselves. If they're a little closer together, then they kind of got to share that energy, and supercells don't like to share as far as maintaining their lifespan is concerned. That's not necessarily something they want to do. So the further apart these discrete supercells are, the worse things could be, if that makes sense. And we're going to continue to talk about this opportunity for discrete supercells as we go throughout the afternoon, getting into the evening. So here's FutureCast right around 5 o'clock, 4:58, same thing. You can see, again, we're continuing to talk about this opportunity for these more discrete supercells, as highlighted by these darker pinks. We're even getting into some of those blacks. So I'll repeat this message one more time, that the further apart these discrete supercells develop, the worse off we're going to be, because these discrete supercells, again, are kind of capable of, sucking up their own amount of energy. And that's going to allow them to strengthen very, very quickly. Okay. Okay. So yeah, could you? Oh boy. Sorry. Could you touch on Cape, Shear, STP, and helicity for today? Oh, Richard, you are asking me some technical questions. Yeah, I can go into that here in just a minute. Still raining and thundering in Fort Payne, 2 inches of rain. Thank you so much, Miss Bach. I appreciate that. So yeah, we're going to continue to talk about this opportunity for discrete supercells, and that's going to be the main theme of the day, are these discrete supercells that are kind of going to pop up here and there, that are going to have that ability to strengthen really, really fast, okay? And they're going to be able to do a lot of damage in a very, very short period of time. I'm just checking the WZDX page again to see if we have any newer comments. You're welcome, Daniel. On and off sun in Newmarket. I wish I could edit these comments so that I can see them a little better. Let me scroll down. Oh, 20 comments. Sun, Madison over by Madison Academy stopped raining, clouds lightening up. Yeah, you probably will see the sun. JJ says the sun is coming out in East Limestone. Thank you for that, JJ. So back to the forecast. I know somebody wanted me to touch on shear. I'm not going to go too deep, Richard, into the STP. I'm just going to tell you that it's high. Cape is high, anywhere between 1,500 and 2,500 joules per kilogram. So those things are high. I'm not necessarily going to touch on all of those. I kind of want to hit the nuts and bolts. I will show you your forecast shear rate. And as you all know, when we get into our severe weather coverage, our wall-to-wall coverage, shear rate is one of my favorite tools. The bare definition of shear as it's laid out technically is a change in wind speed and wind direction with height. And when you get that change, especially when you get a really rapid change over a short altitude, well, then we're talking about that opportunity for some significant rotation. So I want to play this through for you, and what this model does is it attempts to pinpoint locations where we're talking about significant wind shear. So I don't want you to look at this and think, okay, well, there's going to be a tornado over Moulton, or there's going to be a tornado over Athens or Fayetteville, Pulaski, and Florence, just because that's where the shear is highlighted. No, this is not a forecast of exact tornado tracks. This is a forecast simply showing you where these things could develop based on the available rotation. So really all this is another tool to better help you prepare, and it's really more to drive home the point that our environment is going to be one that is conducive for the development of severe weather as we progress forward beyond the lunch hour into the early and middle part of the afternoon, and then especially by the time we get to the evening. So that's something that I really want to stress, is that our environment is going to be one that is very conducive for the development of severe weather. And one of the things that makes it conducive is, we can go ahead and check on this. I think I have a graphic already pulled up. is our dew points. We need those dew points to be a little higher to see that risk for severe weather go up. And look what we're talking about dew point wise over in Northwest Alabama. Russellville's got a dew point of 66 right now. As far as the formation of severe weather is concerned, that is a really, really high dew point. Normally we begin to talk about an increase in severe weather chances when our dew point's at least 60. So a dew point of 66 is really high. And we're beginning to see those dew points climb in other locations of the Tennessee Valley. Athens and Decatur talking about a dew point of 62. The Huntsville International Airport is recording a dew point right now of 62. That is a high dew point as far as the possibility of severe weather is concerned. What does that mean? Well, that means we're going to continue to get more and more confident as we get into the lunch hour that severe weather is going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley. And not just severe weather, but significant severe weather is going to be possible across the Tennessee Valley, including that chance for some dangerous, some violent, long-track tornadoes. And I want to kind of try and drive home a point that we are getting to this time in the afternoon. It is now 12 o'clock, where we are running out of time for you to pack your severe weather kit. We are running out of time for you to begin making a plan. We are at the point in the afternoon when you need to have your severe weather kit packed. You need to have your plan finalized, and you're going over those finite details of your plan, okay? You know, and it sounds very dramatic, but this has the potential to be a very significant day across the Tennessee Valley. And I want to make sure everybody has multiple ways to receive their alerts. I've put a QR code up next to the WZDX app. If you'll just take your phone, it's really super easy. You can just take your phone, open the camera. You can put your camera over the QR code, and then look at this. It gives you the option to open up this link. And what this link does is it takes you to our website, and it takes you to a specific page on our website where you can download our app, whether that be for the Android store or the Apple store. And this app is going to come in handy because if you lose power, you obviously lose your Wi-Fi. If you lose your Wi-Fi, it's kind of hard to stream us. Many people use their cable services, use streaming these days, Hulu Live, YouTube TV. But if you lose your Wi-Fi, you obviously lose that. But with the app, you'll be able to rely on your cell phone data to be able to stream our wall-to-wall coverage. So that's something that's going to be important. Obviously, your NOAA weather radio is important, television. We are going to cut in if we need to. Do not complain to me that we are interrupting your shows. I don't want to hear it, and frankly, I don't care. To be very blunt, just because something's not happening over your house doesn't mean somebody else's life is currently changing for the worse. So if your show gets interrupted this afternoon, this evening, don't complain to me because I honestly don't care. I'm doing my job. I'm trying my best to save lives. And then, of course, you can always follow us on social media. I think we're going to begin to wrap things up. I'm going to check the comments after we finish our live and answer any questions. I will respond to them personally. But I'll leave you with the fact that we are talking about a PDS tornado watch that is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. A PDS watch is simply an extra tag that stands for a particularly dangerous situation. That means we're talking about an environment that is conducive for the development of some longer tracked and more violent tornadoes. By definition, as it gets technical, a violent tornado is one that would be EF2 or greater. So be sure to stick with us on the app, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on air as we go through the afternoon, because we're going to have continuous updates. And of course, we will break into programming if we need to. So with that, I'm going to step away. I hope you guys can enjoy your lunch hour and just be very mindful, be very prepared as we go throughout the afternoon. This is not goodbye. It is merely a very big see you later, because I will for sure. I'll see y'all later. In the meantime, take it easy, stay prepared, and please, please, please